It's 2 in the morning. Your dog has a perfectly comfortable bed somewhere in the house. And yet, here they are, pacing around your mattress, settling against your leg, occupying nearly 80% of the space, and leaving you what remains. Most people assume it's about warmth, maybe routine, or that they're just a bit needy. But behavioral neuroscience reveals a completely different explanation. What your dog is doing right now, every single night, is one of the most intricate expressions of trust, attachment, and evolutionary biology that exists between two species. And most owners don't even realize it. Let's start with the warmth idea, since it seems logical. Dogs get cold, you're warm. Simple. But here's the issue. Your dog has access to sunny spots, heaters, a couch, and probably even a pile of your clothes on the floor. If warmth were the only factor, they have plenty of alternatives. So why do they keep choosing you? Because sleep is the most vulnerable state any animal can experience. Every instinct in your dog's brain, shaped by thousands of years of predator-prey survival, pushes them to find a hidden and secure place when they're unconscious. Yet instead, they pass by every quiet corner in your home and climb next to a human many times their size. That's not about temperature. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest adapted the same attachment test psychologists use for human infants, Ainsworth's strange situation procedure, and applied it to dogs. The result? Dogs form attachment bonds with their owners that are functionally identical to the bond between an infant and its mother. The same drive for closeness. The same distress when separated. The same calmness when reunited. The same sense of relief when back together. 61% of dogs tested were classified as securely attached, almost exactly the same percentage found in human toddlers. When your dog chooses to sleep beside you, they are displaying the most fundamental behavior in attachment psychology, seeking proximity to their safe person at their most vulnerable moment. They're not being clingy. They're showing that you are the safest presence in their world. But here's where it becomes even more fascinating, because this isn't just psychology. It's chemistry. In 2015, researchers at Asabu University in Japan published a study in the journal Science, one of the most respected scientific journals in the world. They measured oxytocin levels in 30 dog-owner pairs during interaction. Oxytocin, if you're unfamiliar, is the neurochemical your brain releases when you feel bonded to someone, the same molecule that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn. And what they discovered was remarkable. When a dog looks into their owner's eyes and the owner looks back, both experience a simultaneous surge in oxytocin. Across species, the dog's oxytocin increases. The owner's oxytocin increases, which encourages the dog to gaze more, which releases even more oxytocin, which strengthens the owner's bond, prompting them to look back again. It's a loop, a self-reinforcing neurochemical cycle that no other animal on Earth shares with humans. They tested the same interaction with wolves raised by humans. The loop didn't activate at all. This mechanism co-evolved specifically between dogs and humans over thousands of years of living together, and physical contact enhances it even further. Researchers found that just 10 minutes of petting your dog leads to measurable decreases in cortisol, your stress hormone in both of you. Now imagine what happens during 8 hours of sleeping close together. Here's a question almost no one thinks to ask. When did dogs and humans start sleeping next to each other? The answer is essentially from the very beginning. Dogs are the only animal domesticated before agriculture, before farming, before cities, even before writing. Around 15,000 years ago, wolves began approaching human camps, drawn by food scraps, fire, and warmth. The friendliest wolves, those least likely to run away, survived more successfully and passed on those traits. Over generations, they were no longer wolves. In Germany, archaeologists discovered a burial site dated to 14,000 years ago, 2 humans buried together, with 2 dogs beside them. But the detail that changes everything is this: one of the dogs had survived severe canine distemper, a disease that usually kills within 3 months. That dog had been cared for intensively for over 5 weeks. Someone had nursed it through illness 14,000 years ago. These weren't just working animals, they were family. And that's not accidental. Geneticists have found that domestic dogs carry unique genetic insertions in a region of chromosome 6 linked to extreme friendliness and human-directed social behavior. Wolves don't have these traits. Dogs were literally shaped at a genetic level to seek proximity to us, to sleep near us, to bond with us. Your dog isn't doing anything unusual when they climb into your bed. They're expressing a behavior that has been selected for over 15,000 years. Now, here's a study that few people talk about because the result seems counterintuitive. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic measured the sleep quality of 40 adults and their dogs over 7 nights using clinical-grade sleep trackers. The result? Dogs objectively disrupted human sleep movement, repositioning, the occasional 3 a.m. stretch hitting your ankle. The data showed worse sleep quality, and yet almost every participant reported feeling more comfortable, more secure, and more rested when their dog was nearby. How can that be? A researcher at Canisius College surveyed nearly 1,000 women and found that dogs were rated as less disruptive than human partners, more comforting, and more consistent. Her follow-up study used motion trackers and revealed why. Owners briefly woke up whenever the dog moved, but almost never remembered it in the morning. The physical disturbances were real, but the feeling of safety outweighed them. And this is where it becomes deeper. Because it turns out that the psychological benefit of sleeping next to a trusted companion, a warm, breathing presence your nervous system recognizes as safe, may be more important for restorative sleep than complete silence and darkness. For most of human history, people slept in groups. Sleeping alone in isolated bedrooms is the exception, not the rule. Maybe your dog isn't ruining your sleep. Maybe they're restoring something more ancient than modern sleep habits. A 2024 study from the University of Jyväskylä in Finland measured heart rate variability, HRV, in 30 dog owner pairs across 6 conditions. HRV is one of the best indicators of how your autonomic nervous system is functioning. High HRV means you're relaxed and balanced. Low HRV indicates stress. What they found was striking. In every condition, dogs and their owners showed synchronized HRV patterns. Their nervous systems were aligned. When the owner was calm, the dog was calm. When the owner was stressed, the dog's state shifted too. The synchronization was strongest during rest. They repeated the test with unfamiliar humans. No synchronization at all. This only occurs in bonded pairs. This means that sleeping beside your dog isn't just emotional comfort, it's a neurological process. 2 separate nervous systems, from 2 different species, regulating each other throughout the night. There's one last thing you should know, and it might be the most important part. If your dog has been sleeping next to you for months or years and suddenly stops, don't ignore it. Dogs rely heavily on routine. When a deeply established behavior disappears suddenly, there's always a reason. Sometimes it's environmental, a new pet, a new person, a change in schedule. Dogs are extremely sensitive to changes in their surroundings. Something that seems minor to you can feel major to them, but sometimes it's physical. Veterinary research shows that changes in sleeping location are often one of the earliest signs of pain appearing before limping, stiffness, or visible symptoms. A dog that stops jumping onto the bed may not prefer the floor they may be hurting. In older dogs, disrupted sleep patterns are also a key sign of canine cognitive dysfunction, the dog equivalent of dementia. It affects about 35% of dogs over 8 years old. So if your nightly routine changes, pay attention. Your dog doesn't have language, behavior is their only way of communicating something is wrong. So the next time you wake up at 3 a.m., with only a few inches of mattress and a heavy dog pressed against your legs, remember what's really happening. Your dog chose you, not the couch, not the floor, not the warm spot by the heater, you. Because 15,000 years of evolution, a shared neurochemical feedback loop, and an attachment system mirroring the bond between parent and child, all lead to one conclusion. Sleeping beside you is the safest place in their world. And honestly, science suggests it might be benefiting you too. If this changed how you see your dog, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I'd love to know where your dog sleeps tonight. And if you want to understand why your dog looks at you the way they do, that's the next video. And the science behind it is even more surprising than you'd expect.